Good afternoon. My name is Ari Morgenstern. I'm the Senior Director of Policy and Communications for Christians United for Israel. And today we're going to be discussing Lesson 17 of the Israel course. In this lesson, we'll discuss a time period in Israel's history from 2005 until 2014. And then we'll go a little bit even in today. Now, this time period is of particular interest to me because I happen to have been working for the Israeli embassy during the early years and spent some time living in Israel during the midpoint of this time period. Effectively, this begins with Israel's disengagement from Gaza. This was an attempt to try to make peace with the Palestinians in that enclave, whether they wanted it or not. In fact, Israel's ambassador to the United States at the time wrote an op-ed for the Washington Post, which includes the title, "A Test Case for Peace." That's what Gaza disengagement was. Unfortunately, quite sadly, Israel got rockets, not peace in return. And the following year, Gaza-based Palestinian terrorists kidnapped an Israeli soldier, sparking a conflict. That conflict grew dramatically when just a few weeks later, Hezbollah terrorists from northern Lebanon kidnapped 2 Israeli soldiers. This became what is now known as the 2006 Lebanon War. Unfortunately, the soldiers that Hezbollah kidnapped were killed soon thereafter. The Israelis, however, were able to trade 1,000 prisoners that were taken as a result of their activities in support of Palestinian terror, for the soldier that the Gaza-based Hamas had kidnapped, a soldier named Gilad Shalit. And I think that's important to note because it shows just how much emphasis the Israelis place on human life. Now, in the end, through sheer force of will and through the strategies and tactics employed by the IDF, calm was restored both to Israel's northern border and to the area around Gaza. But that calm around Gaza did not last long. In 2007, Hamas took over the Gaza Strip. And ever since Israel's disengagement, and especially after the Hamas takeover of the Gaza Strip, we have seen constant, indiscriminate rocket fire by Hamas and other Palestinian terrorist organizations. To this day, a conservative estimate is that the Palestinian terrorist organizations have fired more than 20,000 rockets, mortars, and the like into Israel in an attempt to kill innocent people and harm the Israeli people and harm the Israeli economy. Now, Israel has not been able to simply withstand these rocket fires, to sit idly by as this takes place. So, in 2008, we saw this rocket fire increasing, and over the course of time in 2012 and 2014, we saw Israel compelled to engage in military activity and in an effort to deal with the Hamas threat, with the Gaza rocket threat. We also saw them engage in this activity to deal with the tunnels that Hamas uses to smuggle these weapons from Egypt into the Gaza Strip. These types of conflicts, these short-term efforts to try to stop the rocket fire, continue even to this day. In May of 2021, we saw Operation Breaking Dawn, where the Israelis were able to achieve a strategic victory against Palestinian Islamic Jihad, another Gaza-based terror organization. And these types of engagements will have to continue so long as the Palestinians in Gaza continue to allow their territory to be used as the world's largest rocket launch pad. Palestinian terror, I should note, especially to this day, is not restricted just to Gaza. Today, Israel contends with IED, shooting, car ramming, and all manner of attacks emanating from Palestinian-controlled territories in the West Bank. The Israelis, though, using traditional and high-tech methods, have aimed to contend with these threats and have done a very good job of minimizing casualties as a result of terror. And to be clear, it's not just minimizing Israeli casualties. Every time Israel enters Gaza, every time Israel confronts terrorist organizations anywhere in the West Bank, in Gaza, anywhere in the world, they seek to minimize civilian casualties on both sides of the conflict. Sadly, Hamas takes the opposite view. They hide behind women and children. They use schools, kindergartens, hospitals as bases of terror operations. There is no such thing as an easy war. And until the Palestinians decide they want peace, and their decades-long campaign of war against Israel will end, I do not foresee peace coming in the region. The only way for peace to be achieved in the region is for the Palestinians to decide they want to live in peace with their neighbors in Israel. And until that day comes, we will unfortunately be forced to ensure that Israel has what it needs to defend itself from the Palestinian terror threat. Thank you.